Okay, thank you for attending this webinar. My name is Engineer Iduh Ofikwu, and I'm representing ProtaStructure in Nigeria. I work with Trackford Engineering. So today's webinar, we are going to be looking at how you can simplify your construction drawing process with ProtaDetails. Oftentimes, a lot of engineers don't have issue carrying out all those complex analysis. They don't have issue carrying out designs, but where the problem lies most times is the production. So every design an engineer does, the only way the person who will construct it, the person who carry out the implementation, even the approving authority, is through drawings. So your ability or inability to put out your drawings, your thought process, your design process into drawings is one of the challenges that we often encounter. So I'm thankful to ProtaSoftware Incorporated for this opportunity, and I want you to relax and go with me. This is not a topic that can be treated in just one single setting, but we are going to be trying as much as we can. Okay, in today we are going to be looking at overview of ProtaSoftware suite. Then we'll look at how you can review your reinforced concrete design. Then we'll look at samples of formwork design and material estimate. Then the drawing productions, the main reason why we are here today. And then as we continue, you can drop your questions and then it will be attended to as much as possible, and look at conclusion. Okay, the overview of ProtaStructure suite. The suite contains ProtaStructure. It also has ProtaDetails, ProtaBeam, and then ProtaSteel. The ProtaDetails is where you carry out all your modeling, your multi-material modeling, the finite element analysis, and your design. Then if what you are modeling or the project you are working with, if it's reinforced concrete, then you turn to ProtaDetails to automate all your designs. It's an automated and interactive reinforced concrete tool. Then if the project you are working on is ProtaSteel, has to do with steel, your trusses, your portal frames, your masts, and all that. Then you turn to ProtaSteel to carry out your steel connection design, carry out your detailing, your fabrications, your assembly drawings, your part drawings, and all that. Then ProtaBeam, we are at that point whereby different professionals need to collaborate with one another. So the suite also has ProtaBeam, depending on which version of the license you have. The ProtaBeam also will aid you to be able to communicate with other softwares and other professionals. Softwares like Revit, you have like Tekla structures and many others. Okay, so as an engineer, you see a lot of software in the market. You see all of them that are just concentrated on modeling and analysis, and then they leave you with the problem of the challenges of having to put those things into drawing. Then when you talk of design, there are many of the softwares too that carry out just design. Then we talk of component design. They pick maybe an element and carry out the design. Software like TEDS and all that. Then you have AutoCAD, which a lot of engineers use this for their drafting and detailing. So then fabrication Tekla structures, advanced steel, and all that. You see, but the challenge, one of the challenges with some of these softwares is the fact that they solve one problem and then they leave the other problems for you to solve. For instance, you carry out the modeling very well, carry out the analysis. Now they are expecting you to turn to another software. And that is where also ProtaBeam. So, and that is where the ProtaStructure suite, come into your head. It's a modeling software that can carry out with just purchasing that, using that software, just the ProtaStructure suite. You now end up with all the others. So you don't need to turn to another software. So with the suite, you can do your modeling, you can carry out your analysis, and then you go to design, move to design, carry out all those designs, steel designs, concrete beams, and all that. Then you turn to ProtaDetails, the one we are going to be looking at today, then which will enable you to carry out your detail, your drafting, all those elements, especially that has to do with reinforced concrete. So then you now talk of steel, which helps you to generate your connection design, helps you to carry out your connection designs, your shop designs, drawings, your parts assembly, and other. Then the structural beam, BIM, which helps you to communicate everything you have done effectively and efficiently with others in the industries. So this is the advantage. All this in one software. Okay, so now in order not to talk too much, we are going to go straight to the main reason why we are here. So today's training will not be talking about design, about modeling. It will not also be talking about analysis. There are a lot of videos on that. So in this case, we have this, and our aim now is to transit from here, from this point to where we are going to be producing our drawing. Okay, so let's move on. So when you are done modeling, the next thing you do is to run your analysis. And like I said earlier, I am not going to be talking so much about this now, but you run your analysis where you carry out your building analysis, finite element, or even the option where you mesh. So in this case, we are going to leave out the design, run the analysis, which depending on the configuration of your system or your system, then also the complexity of the project, it will take time. But like what you can see, it's carrying out all the analysis for you. So you don't even need to start, going into all the rigors of structural analysis. So wait, we'll just hold on while this is being created. So you can see that with the analysis, the time needed to carry out the entire analysis was less than 2 minutes. So you're calculating your design forces, and when everything is satisfied, you can see 1 minute 52 seconds. And if need be, you can compare your axial forces to see if all the loads have been distributed. Like I said earlier, that is not why we are here today. So I want to be focused. Okay, so when you are done with your analysis, the next phase you get to is to carry out the design. And you have the option of turning this off if you know your system is slow. You can see we have our walls, your lift shaft, and all that in this. So after this analysis, just because of what we may want to demonstrate today, first you might want to do a bit. I'll just do a bit just to demonstrate it, a bit of how you can carry out your strip. That's your design of the slab, because we're also concerned. And what you do when you get to the modeling tab, you now go to the slab strip, which will bring out the strip for you, and you have all these options. So on this option, you have the analytical strip, you have finite element strip, you have manual strip. Okay, but before we get to this point, we might need to just do a bit of setting if need be. So now, when you are done with your analysis, you can proceed to your materials to set your materials. And depending on the specification, your code specification, or all those factors, your exposure, the durability conditions, your fire resistance, you set your concrete cover. In this case, your concrete data, the grade of concrete. In this case is grade 25. So after setting this, has a compressive strength. And what you have here is your cylindrical strength. But the BS I'm using in Nigeria, what we use is the compressive strength. So from here, okay. So from here, after setting this, you click OK. Also, your steel reinforcement, you can see plain and the different grade. So depending on your code and what is required in your area is all up for you. And even here, the symbol. There are people who prefer the diameter sign or diameter symbol or even the H. So you have the opportunity of customizing this or even editing any of the materials. Then you go to the rebars, your reinforcement bars, where you select. So in this case, for all columns, we don't need setting reinforcement. For me in Nigeria, there are reinforcements I may not need. So here I'm going to select for columns. I'll select just Y16. That's the minimum we use in Nigeria. And then I'll leave it at that. But I have the option of selecting up to 25. Then also for walls, this is all about your judgment, your engineering judgment. Or if you're a detailer, maybe you want to select. Please, every other explanation leading to this point where I am, you can find them on YouTube. You can find them on Prota software, that's ProtaStructure YouTube page. You can find out. You can even reach out to us, and then we'll be able to direct you. Or if you want a session, we can equally do that. Okay, so you have a slab, and then for slab, I want to select Y10, Y12 only, and then I'll deselect this. I don't want to have so many reinforcement options. So these are, since we don't have rib slab here, I'll just skip that. Then for footing, we have 10, 12. We don't have Y13 in Nigeria. So You only have in even numbers. So I'm going to also remove this. Also for links, you can use Y10 only. So I'm going to deselect. Please just relax. It's better to just do the right thing and do the much you can do within the time than doing everything and then missing out. Okay, so for this, I can even choose to. Anyway, is either you leave this, there's another point where we can equally select the limits such that you will not even though they are here, they will not have anything to worry about. So for your generic, we also can have up to 16 or 20 depending on your choice. So if we click column, we'll see, we'll look at what the ones that has to do with this project, and then we'll click OK. So when we are done with this, that means you are ready for our material setting on. And sorry, we are done with setting of our materials. And this can be done. This can be adjusted anytime in the course of your project, after analysis, before analysis, anytime. So you don't need to worry so much what time you need to do it. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to now go to, of course, after analysis, it's good for you to carry out your review, but like I said earlier, I wouldn't want to go into that now. So we'll go to our strip and we'll do one or two panel, and then we'll go ahead. And just to give us instant status, we can come here and click to look at the design status. This is one of the things that ProtaStructure will do for you. So if you see any red here after design, that means it has failed. Warning sign, expired. So all this orange you are seeing means there was an analysis before, but it has expired. So you have OK when it's green, then anyone that it doesn't design, it will be showing blue color, and then the white will be means you are yet to design it. So what it means is that all these beams and slab have not been designed. Even if you look at the 3D, it's also the same way. You can see. So all these slab, all the beams, they are yet to be designed. Okay. So we'll go back. Let's go to first floor, and then from first floor we can select. So from modeling, you click on the strip, and in the course of your analysis, you have the options for slab to use yield line method, or to use finite elements. And there are different ways you can use finite elements, which, like I said, are covered elsewhere. But one of the ways is to mesh with building analysis to check mesh. Then the other way is to use finite element, which is here. You can use building analysis with mesh slab. Then you can carry out finite element analysis. But in this case, we use building analysis with mesh, but it's finite element. And when do you need to use finite element? When you have irregular shapes, you have slab carrying too many point load, line loads, like your wall load here, which is here, is always advisable to use finite element analysis. So in this case now, we select span strip when it has beams. Then the source of our analysis is building analysis, because it was building analysis that we ran just now. The options are there. And when you go to YouTube, you'll see all this. And if you want practical demonstration, you can also reach out to us or write to ProtaStructure as well. Okay, so the next thing you are going to check is a boundary condition. When you come here, what you see here, your boundary here is beam, meaning this shape, what you have in the middle, means that the end is bounded by with beams. So in this case, because we are going to be starting from this point, we select this. Then when you get to the end here too, is also end. You have beam. So you just click on that, and the next thing we'll do is to just hold down your control key in order to make it straight, and you can see is. So what this is telling you is that for this slab, Y10 at 225, you can see it's green. But even if it's red here, you still have the option to redesign this, which I'll show you shortly. Let's do another one. I'll click. Sorry. Okay. Click another one here. Okay, some of you may be wondering, okay, fine. We have a short slab here. Are we going to ignore it? No. The provision is there for you. First, this is the end. If you are assuming we are starting from top to, that's from bottom to up. Now, all we need to do is we'll go back to the strip, and then we'll select, of course, then we'll carry, because we are starting from here, this time around, we are not going to start from the end. We only start from this point. And that is when we'll now have to select that, okay, at the beginning of the slab, our strip is running into another slab. You can see. So this is a symbol. Please, this has everything to do with your slab design. If you don't choose the correct boundary condition here, whatever you have will not be correct. So the next thing you will do here, because it's running into slab, ProtaStructure will ask you to say, okay, what is the width? In this case, the slab now, what is the width? In this case, we are going to check the width from here to here. And all you need to do is just to carry right click, see that you right click, and then measure from this point to this point, and you have it as 5925. See that you do that, 5925, center to center, or hover on the beam. Just click the beam, you see, just hover on the beam, and you see some of the informations coming out. So the next thing there is now to go back. Now that we know what that width is, we say, okay, select this. So you put 5925. Then the end is cantilevered. So this is cantilever. So you select cantilever, and you come here, click. You can see. So anywhere whatever you do here is taken care of. You can see. So if I'm coming back here, and please, it doesn't work with open space. For instance, if I come here now, look at what will happen. And I select from here to tell me it will not be able to give me anything. You get? It won't give me correct stuff because of this open space. But in as much as it's even open, it has identified and provided a bent back a return. So, but let me go back again. Select this, and then you can see what is happening here. So the deflection has failed. But let's still go ahead. And then for this one too, we may want to run not just one direction from end to end. This is staircase area. It's not part of this, so I'm going to end here. So you can run all this, and with ProtaStructure is very, very easy to take care of all your details. And see, the top reinforcement is here and everything. Okay, quickly, not to worry, when you are done with this, you might want to go to the design and select slab. You can see and see if there's anything you can do to it. So you go to the design tab, and then select slab analysis and design, and then you can come here, check the setting, which will take you to the setting center to see if there's any setting you might want to adjust. So you can see what I said, at any point in time, you can carry out some of these settings. So in these settings, some of the things you see here shows you. Please, I am hurrying over this because it's more like introductory to what we needed to do today. So I'm not spending so much time, but there are many other videos that are dedicated on this, and there are many other videos or even webinars that will keep coming. So here you can use less span, do all that, and then wood hammer effect you can choose to include or ignore depending on your requirement. Then here there is no rib, so we don't need to worry so much. So we go to the rebar, and this is setting the minimum bars. Assuming you are in a country where they don't even approve for your main reinforcement, maybe they don't even approve Y10, you can choose maybe Y12, or you just want only Y12 as your main bars. You can also put it up. Then you can change the bar spacing, and then the minimum, the maximum. Let's assume we even change this. You can then the steps to show you and all this. Then you can choose to the curtailment to say, okay, for cantilevers, bend it backward, or just leave it straight back. Then put support first layers in both directions, curtail. So all this can be done according to your judgment, and ProtaStructure is there to help you. So the next thing we have here is a cut length. I know most bars are 12 meters, but you have to find out with your local market. Sometimes maybe the local production may not be up to 12 meters. So it's expected as an engineer, you need to have this understanding such that when the software is cutting the bars, the moment is up to that limit you have set here, it will now truncate the bars and start with another bar. So is that easy? And then the edge clearance, this just from the edge of the software of the slab, all you need to do is just to set it. Then when you are printing, you can decide to say, okay, show total length, the line. You can even show the number of bars or label and all that. sometimes all this information can make your design to be too clumsy. I am going to show that, and I'm taking that time too because it is necessary for you to do some of this before you get to ProtaDetails to make the work easier. So after we have done this setting now, we'll now need to go back to rerun this. We have the option of say, okay, all the design before, because it's automatic when you are putting the strip, you can say, okay, just check the design. If it passes, pass it. If it doesn't, leave it. Then here, to check the design, anyone that does not pass, and this is also how to optimize your design. So, like the ones that did not pass now, we might say, okay, all the other ones that have passed, it should just let it be. All we need to do is just to select this. And if we go design, it will now attempt to just design. It will check the status of all the other ones, but anyone that has failed, it will now redesign. So it's obvious this did not pass still. So, and you also have the opportunity to also interact. Okay, that is one. Then the other option is to say, okay, just carry out a fresh design, delete all the steel bars, and then redesign. So it will go back to all the redesign, but this is also dangerous if you don't understand how it works, especially if you are doing a review on your design. Maybe something you have already produced the drawings, you don't need to go back. So now we have to come here, select this slab. Why is it not this strip? Why is it not giving us a satisfactory result? So we'll now interact with just that strip. It will no longer be a batch mode. And you can see in terms of the left support required, it says okay. And all this is okay. So, but in terms of the deflection, it's not satisfied. And it's just small thing. It's just, it's even less than just about one. That's the length of our effective depth requirement. It's just not so much. So you can come here to say, okay, assuming you change this to Y12, is it going to be okay? See, it's still not okay. So the support bars, let's see if you carry out all this, will it be okay? Will it be okay? You can see. So what this means is that having provided all this, let's go down, provided this, it still did not pass. Let's even see, assuming we aren't bent up to it. Let's see. It's still not changing. So what that means is that 175 is not sufficient. That is all. And in this case now, it means that you now have to go back to whatever you have done earlier. You have to come here now. You can see, even though it has updated this, but it's still not sufficient. So whatever we have done here, you now have to what? Increase the size or the depth. Or you might want to consider using rib or any other type of slab. This is all the interpretation. And I put it here in order to demonstrate this. But what this will do is that it will invalidate the analysis we have done before. And since this is not the main focus today, we are going to still proceed. Okay, so with this, we assume we are done with our slab design. And you can see all this information that I told you earlier from the setting. You can see this is second layer. You can see top and all that. So you see the information. Is it top bar, bottom bars? You can see top. So all these are there. And when you are done with this, the next one you go to. Why I personally like starting from slab is because you can imagine having done my beams, columns, and then coming here to edit this or to change this depth maybe to 200. It will invalidate everything I've done, even though there's a way of redesigning without spending so much time. But please permit me to pass. So the next thing is to look at the beams. So we'll come here and say, okay, our story beam, and just in similar fashion, we'll go back to the beam setting center to select what we need here. And you look at all the parameters, enter. Please, this is not what the focus is. If not, I'll be, explaining all this. Okay. So when you are done with this, but I'm interested in the steel bar selection because that will affect my details. The bent up, there's no bent up, the links. Do I want to put special torsion links? In this case, I may want to say no. Then the tab of maybe open or depending on what is required. Then for this one, I may want to say no. I just want 100. But the good thing is that you still have opportunity elsewhere, which I'll demonstrate to you. So, and it's good to explain all this. Sorry, take your time here before you jump to ProtaDetails to make the process a little bit more seamless for you. So this explains how you want your containments to be, and this affects your drawings. And at any point, you can change all this. So you look at it, they are very, very explanatory. And should you have any issue understanding this, you can also revert to the help center. You can press F1 or you go to type ProtaSoftware.com and then check the help center. You can also access it. All this will be explained. So you take care of all this. For instance, don't use support. Then the Bob controls, that's the BOB. You want containment, you want this cut, maybe truncated, no anchorage, truncated wherever the beam stop. And you can choose to say, okay, no, you want it to extend. But they all have their advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so the next thing you also check is your drawings. And this place, you need to pay attention to it. When do you consider the wall to be as column? You may also want to show the column level below your beam elevations. Then you want to display the axis, or you want to we'll check how this work to display here where you want to draw the axis level when you are leveling your beam. Then here too, you want to say, okay, the slab line in the beam elevation. You want to display it in the beam section or otherwise. Then sometimes you may want to show the ruler. I think in some countries this is a requirement. I don't know, but in Nigeria, in my zone, in my own zone here, we really don't need to show any of that. But if for the sake of this, you also want to know, you can equally try it. It's nothing really difficult. So from here, like you can choose to underline, you can see, underline your beam layout. So whatever you do here is changing. You can see this depends on how you want the appearance to be. And you may also want to display the level mark or use the section, the span, or only support bars only. So all this, because sometimes you might have stair beams, you might have other beams that are not on the same floor level, you may want to indicate the level of the beam. So you might want to do this. Okay, but even in ProtaDetails, there's also a way of checking it. Then here, you may want to check, okay, how many sections, excuse me. I want to say, okay, just only take only one span and section. And then you might want to carry out just one section. And you may say, okay, restart in every sheet or in every level. So you select either you want to use alphabet or you can see it's changing or you want to use this. See, whatever axis is showing now is a function of the preface we've selected. So you might want to say, okay, no, you just want the section to show, and you can see maybe the beam to show as a preface. In my own personal preference, I don't select it, but this is dependent on what is required by you. Then here, you may want to replot this option, or you want to just plot, you want to just detail and go. But in this case, we want to replot. And then here, you might want to annotate. It's very important because this will determine how your drawings will be in ProtaDetails. Can see. So I want to annotate it this way, but you can use I struct E, which is also a standard, but it's up to you. Now you can say, okay, shift bars to that's other layers to enhance, but sometimes in order to not confuse whosoever is implementing, you might want to just leave it and then show it with a kink. So you can show the layer to say, okay, this is top, or display kinks, or otherwise. So you select all this. You want it cranked or display BOB as shifted. Me, I prefer this, but you may want to do this. And the reason why I want to your drawings is your instruction to whosoever is seeing it. Assuming the person misunderstand this, it might become a problem. So I personally, I prefer leaving everything. Then the links, can draw the links, see, print the total quantities, and please try all this out and see how it will display. So when we are done with this, we'll move to the side, those side reinforcements, especially for a depth. In this case, I am telling the software any depth that is up to 750 show side reinforcement. You can equally reduce it to whatever you might want. And then how will it be arranged? Is it 2/3 of the total depth of the beam, or you just spread it along the side? I prefer this option, and then you can mesh. If the bars are similar, there's no need to separate the bars, so you can merge. Then you can display a single one, or you can make everything show this way. Based on my personal preference, this is what I choose. Then when it comes to the dimensioning, you can now determine what information is necessary. I personally, I don't like showing everything, but this is dependent on what is demanded of you. So you can come here, you see. So I may not want to show this slab, so I'll take it off. Sometimes it might still be there, but okay, take it off. So you can select and see the effect. Dimension still anchorage length. Already I say no. Then dimension still bottom, I say no. Dimension support region, I'm also deselecting it. First and last link, because I don't want to create so much confusion. Then you can decide to say, okay, your dimension axis you will be top or bottom, or you come down. So you do all these selections. Because of time now, I have to. Okay, sorry, I think I've selected one here. Okay, let's go on. You still have the opportunity of selecting this whenever you are still using the ProtaDetails. Okay, so let's move ahead. So when you are done with this, the next thing is to come here now and, okay, there was something I did not check. Your steel bar selection, you may want to, okay, your rebars, okay, let's come from here. Your bar station, parameters, all this, you can select the minimum bar diameter. I want to make it 16, and your link diameter, assuming you have a range to select from. So when we do this, we click OK, and then when we come here, you can run your mode. But before we go here, there are beams that are similar here that you may want just a drawing to represent many other beams. So ProtaStructure also can give you that, where you carry out your grouping. So you have, come here, you can say, okay, group within floor, group all similars, but personal preference, this is what I do, and I'll group. So you can see the ones highlighted means that it will just design one and print only one, which will be a similar bar to the others. So this is how powerful the structure can be. So when you are done with that, you come back to design. Got here, just the same way I explained earlier for slab, we'll do the same thing and we'll run this. And this may actually take a bit of time depending on the complexity of your project or the configuration of your system. So it might be faster, and sometimes there are also settings you can do to take this. While this is running, may I check if there's any question yet? Please, you can drop your questions, and so it's still carrying out all the designs and see axis A, story 3, 1, and all that. So you'll be looking at the status, and when you are done, so wait a little. Please, if you ask question, we use this waiting time to answer to all the questions. The moment at this point, it means the process has been completed. Sometimes you might want to check, but for now, let's go on. So all you need to do, you go through. And sometimes I can tell you from experience that the fact that this is showing mark may not be, doesn't necessarily mean that it's very, very okay for you to move on. So you might still want to interact with it by double clicking, and then you check all this to see that everything you have there is okay. Sometimes you may even want to preview the detail, how the detail will be. You can see. If this is not how you want it, you can now review it even from here before proceeding to ProtaDetails. And you can check your, today is all about drawings. We may not go up through all this, but you can now check all your analysis. So let's move on. And from here, you can adjust. It's very possible the software, for instance, here, for a span of 4.7, you're having only 2y16. Sometimes you might say, oh, I'm not comfortable, you want to adjust it. It's still very, very possible. And the moment as you are doing that, you can also view the reinforcement increasing. Okay, and from here, you can equally print your report. Please, all these are things you can look at from the software, the YouTube page. Then when you are done, just click OK, and you see that now from the status, everything is green. So we can now move on. Then we'll go to columns. For want of time and because we want to proceed, okay, let's still carry out the setting. Still come here, similar, and you check the parameters. Check to ensure it aligns with your choice. The layout, containment, check all this based on then the minimum, maximum for the wall. This just ensure, check all this. There are other videos, there are other webinars where we concentrated on this. So you can look up for it. Maybe your link type and choose any of this, outside or inside for wall, depending on your requirement. So check from the elevation where you have openings. You might want to select, maybe you want single or you want double. Then the spacing truncates, or you can even use corner to say put corner diameter. So all these are, I think is very, very easy to understand. Display, and then we have all this. And the beautiful thing is that we can always change this setting at any time, even before you finish your final production. Then for the schedules, let me not spend more time here. So when you are done with this, the next thing now is I want to redesign everything. This should not take so much time. Are there questions while we wait? Oh, please, the screen has frozen. Please, can someone confirm this? Can someone confirm if the screen is still frozen or it's just mine or it's just the person? Okay. There's no confirmation. I want to believe that maybe everything's okay. So when you are done with this, in similar fashion, you can equally come here and interact with the drawing. Carry out, if you need to change this, you can equally come here. Assuming you want to increase the quantities here, you can equally do this. Or you may want to check this. You can as well. 16, maybe the ones at the edges, I want to change the diameter. This is all up to you. So it's based on your consideration, because the software may be showing you something you yourself might want to take, maybe be a little bit more conservative. And you can also preview whatever drawings you have here. You may want to see it. See, such that if you are not satisfied with what you are seeing here, you can equally go back and change your setting. As a practice, whenever I'm doing design, I spend a lot of time here, such that when I'm done from here, I know I am good to go. So when you are done with this, you now click OK. You can see all your columns and your shear walls, they have all been designed. Okay, so the next thing we check, even though I did not include foundation, but I'm going to give example of one. We'll go back to see. Now, let me put just pad here, and then come here and say, okay, insert, sorry, not combine, not combine. I clicked on that by mistake. We can't do combine for this. It's not advisable. Please, I'm not combining this, so I'm going to cancel. So, but it has the capacity to combine, to do combined footing. So in this case, you can equally come to the setting here, and you see, to take you straight to this, let's say our allowable soil stress, your working load factor, okay, pile. We don't have pile here. Then your allowable stress ultimate limit state. After providing all these settings, which are usually based on your soil report, you can go ahead and then select this. Maybe you want it to be rectangular or square. Then you say, okay, you should use building analysis, because I use building analysis, which has mesh enforcement. So it's building analysis. If you select this, it might not be correct. Then all these are based on code requirement. So you can select all this, and then the concrete cover, you can say, okay, you want a bending of bars, then you can say footing reinforcement top with bending of bars if there's top. And in this case, you might want to use top. Okay, let's use an option of top in one. Then the maximum steel bar size, which is not correct. So you can start from Y12, and if you wish, you can still go to 20. So it will select from the list and give you a value. But I encourage you to review whatever you have before proceeding. So we have this show. These are all about what you want to be displayed. And then you come back. And then the next thing you do, you can come here and just in similar fashion, can say redesign. And when you click this, you say design all. So you can see now if we have similar footing and you click on this, you see our footing. When you come to the 3D here, you can see the footing. So, but it doesn't have to stop here, because sometimes you might want to label all these footings. So we'll go back to the footing pad footing design. And then maybe you want everything here to be similar, because when you look at this, the difference is not so much. But let's say for sake of what you are trying to do, emphasis, we are going to combine, make this similar, and we'll group them. When you group, so now that we have grouped, the next thing is to design the selected. And then maybe you type base, maybe like me, I like putting it as BT1, the way I would want it to show. So because I have done this here, you may want to review, maybe you want pedestal, you want materials, you may want to review all this information, the fill height, you may want to review all this, and then maybe from the rebars too, you want to check all this a combo, the combination. Now you are saying use all combination. Now I want to say just use envelope. So come here, the distribution. Maybe for this one, I'll say, okay, don't use top bars. So I'll remove top bars. And then even from here, you can still change the spacing. And when you are done, you can design again to see what it will give you. And from here, you can view this. While it is carrying out the design, it will not. So you can see now, everything is 2007. And you could come here, look at it. Concrete cover, 50 here. Okay, you have to be checking this. And then you may also even choose to change this. And when you are satisfied, you can even view it here in 3D to say, okay, how is it going to look? Why would you not go for ProtaStructure suite and simplify your workflow? So I'm going to leave the remaining ones. Like I say, you can equally still check this design to change maybe base type 2, PT2, and then click OK. Change this one. It's just for sake of emphasis that I'm making them different. I could have made them common, but I'm just leaving them just so that we don't have only few ones. Okay, so change this. I think I equally need to change that actual 50. Then I click OK. So by the time you are done with all this, you now know you are ready for your ProtaDetails. And sometimes you might even want to cross-check before you proceed to ProtaDetails. But so that we don't waste time going there, I'm going to click the command ProtaDetails so that it will be opening and wait for us while we continue with the next thing on our agenda. So from here, you can equally decide to show the form plan. Let's see that of first floor, which you can see will show you the plan. This is only for review purposes, how it to come, so that if you need to review anything now, you can equally go back and review. And the good thing is that even when you have come here to change anything, you can still come back here to update and to update all this for you. But this here is just for purpose of viewing. And then you can equally go to column applications, check all this, even the beams, column applications that will show you. Let me just show for only first floor. I'll show you the layout with their column. And as a matter of fact, it's something I included in my column layout so that the man who is carrying out the design, who is carrying out the implementation, can quickly see it. He doesn't need to start looking for another drawing, go to another page. While on column layout, he can easily see whatever the information of the reinforcement is. So you have that opportunity all in ProtaStructure suite. So when you are done with this, it doesn't stop there. Do you know too that the moment you are done and you are satisfied, you have inserted all your foundation, do you know that you can check, even with a phone call, tell whosoever cares to know, maybe the quantity surveyor or the client, to say, okay, for this reinforcement, for this project, what is the total concrete for all the structural elements? It's just here. So for this project, and with just the 4 pad we have, it's just 441 cubic meters. And what this does for you is to be able to check what will the reinforce the concrete alone cost you. And should you be interested in how all these are generated, you can also click on your report, and one by one you can see the base type is just do only for the foundation. So, and this can also help you to schedule your work. You'll be able to know, okay, at foundation stage, what do I need at every stage? And it doesn't just stop there. You can equally do this for, you can equally do this for the formwork to check the quantity of the square area. Sometimes you charge per square meters for the project. You can easily see this here. So, and this will also give you a detailed how it arrived at the area. This is how powerful and what this software will do for you. And then another interesting part, even though in our climb in Nigeria is not always all the time that formwork design is required, but is also there. It's very, very possible for you to carry out formwork design. So, and this is simple. All you need to do, you can either select, and when you select, you come here to say your formwork. So from here, you can change the plate, the thickness. Maybe you want to use the material you are using, the thickness. All this will change the stringers, the joists, the braces, and if you need tie rod, what is the diameter of the tie rod? You can choose all this, put all the data, the parameters needed to carry out this design, and then look at the braces. You can even change this to say no, you want the braces, maybe surface 1, surface 2. You can check all of them to say, okay, uh, this is what you want. The number of fingers, can change it, and all this will review. So that's how easy all this can be. Please, you can now redesign to ensure. I know in some countries, this is also required because there are cases where while concrete placement or even construction workers are working, that the formwork will collapse. So this will enable you to ensure that you can produce the report, your design report, can see. So this will enable you to be able to know that yes, before anything, you are good to go. Even for your slab, can pick a slab, any slab here, design the formwork. See, please, I am going to click OK, and then okay, let me go back, design. redesign, and click OK. You can equally do for the wall to say OK. You can see. So it's very, very detailed. It's very, very helpful. So by the time you are done, yes, it's not going to show here, but it will also show when you get to. So from here, everything you have done, you can check your report, even the quantity report, which can be added. But please permit me to proceed. So at this stage, I'm going to, excuse me, let me redo this since I've done new things, even though we can easily update, but let's go again. When you are now satisfied, you can go ahead. Even if you are not satisfied yet, maybe there are different members who are working on the same project. For instance, you already determined the general arrangement, you might want to send it out or any of that. You don't have to wait until you are done. You can equally just send it and then you'll be updating. Okay, the person needs information on the foundation drawings. You want to update and you send to him, and that is how good and powerful this software can be. So what will ProtaDetails do for you? First, it will help you to create automatic and general arrangements, also quantity takeoff, and then your sheet management, your title block, and also many other features, which we are going to be checking some of them in this. So we have launched this, and now the next thing we are going to be looking at is the interface. So when you open your ProtaDetails, you have, this is the main menu, and this is similar to many other applications. The file has to do with the drawing management, and then edits, where you can do, undo, view, redraw, how you can view whatever you are doing, format, which here will enable you your layers, your dimension style, all this, and you have your dimensions, modify, then everything that has to do with ProtaStructure, communicating with the ProtaStructure, but it's one direction, meaning whatever you are doing here cannot be updated on the ProtaDetails. However, whatever changes we make here can be updated in the ProtaDetails, at least to the best of my knowledge. I know there are features that the development team keeps introducing. So you also have the other tools that are arranged, that are like quick tools that can enable you. And it will interest you to know that many things you can do in many conventional CAD drawings, you can do here. But the advantage is that these are macros, meaning if you draw reinforcement here, it will recognize it as reinforcement. You can even import your previous drawings you have done to this interface, and it will also do it for you. Then the next thing is, when you have here, you can either do automated, which you are going to come here shortly. You can do auto generate. And when you click auto generate, this one you don't want to waste time, especially if you have spent enough time from the ProtaStructure interface where we did a lot of review. So you are coming here now to just go straight. So you have the option, can select everything. You can equally come here to say, okay, for here on the form plan, which is your general arrangement, you can say, okay, you don't want top rebars to show, or you want it to show. You can select or deselect. This is up to you. You can, depending on what your drawings need to look like. Even on this, you can click, select this. You also can choose to say, okay, show pad dimension. That is on the foundation drawing layout. Strip dimensions. Sometimes you may not want to show some of them. If you have hole, assuming there is a slab, that's another type of foundation, maybe not pad foundation, maybe mat foundation, and there's how you can show it. Then maybe the column dimensions, which I don't really subscribe to, but because it can make your design to be jam-packed. And then oftentimes, when you don't select this properly, you end up having drawings that are too busy and it doesn't always go. But you can equally have a way of generating this manually, whereby after you are done with this, you now generate and come up with the ones you want to have dimensions. So it's very, very easy to do that. Then you can also show form dimensions side, or you want to leave it. And after this training, you can equally go and make adjustment. And mind you, this is just for the form. So when you come to, there are other options that you can also adjust. For instance, you want to print, let's say the reinforcement, the slab reinforcement. What would you want to show? Are you really interested in showing the steel segment? Yes. What about the total length? Do you want it shown? For me, I may want to remove it. For the span lines, yes, you want to show where is this spanning. Then the number of bars, yes, you want to show it. Then what level? Is it top or bottom? I think this is also important. So it all depends. And even after drawing it, if whatever you have is not looking like what you want, you can still come back to regenerate, change the settings and regenerate. So you can support display strip for the person who is at the site, the person who is implementing the drawings. You might not need a strip. And when I talk about the strips are the slab drawings we did. So these are our strip. This is Y strip. This is X strip. So you may not want to display that. The person who is implementing this drawing may not necessarily need this information. However, maybe for sake of regulation, whosoever is going to look at this might want to see from your design calculations is seeing strip 6. You might want to see it on the drawing to be able to make a comparison. So here, you might want to say draw steel members, reverse deflections, and all that. So you set this based on your what you want. You change the scale here, but in this scale, you have the option of inserting this in your model space, in your title sheet. So in this case, I'm going to say insert, and then from here you have the option of selecting from some already title sheets that are there, which you can equally adjust to suit your standard. Like if you see here, we have the one for our own company, which you can easily change. And how do you locate this? You can easily locate, sorry, I want to check. You can easily locate this from, depending on where this is stored, I think from the document. You can also see Prota data or Prota library. These are out there. So you see blocks, sheets. So you can come here and to me, this is what I do. I will come here, change, open any of this, and you adjust it. You adjust, if you open this, it will take us to the drawings. So all you need to do, you can do save as and adjust your title block from here, because this I recognize the program. So you don't change it, but you can move it around, or you can copy this and then, so that it's automated. Even your scale, you can see drawn by. I'll show you where this information will be shown. So if this is in your title block, let me show you the ones for our company. And when come here, this is how my own this is. Okay, sorry. Now you see, I have information I have already that I want to show in the drawings on every pages. You can see client's name, project title, the company logo is already there, and then designed by, you can see the sheet, that's the title. Then you have the scale, you have the sheet references. So there are things I want to see. For every project I do, this changes. So I could easily change this from the title block. And then when I'm done, I just save it. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is also, and I know there are other videos on that, because in case we don't have enough time to do that here, but there are many other ways you can also select from. So in this case, let me select from, let's say we are using A3 papers, and you check the form. Maybe these forms, you might want to change it to say, okay, instead of putting from, maybe general arrangement, you can change it. And then what preface will you want it to be? And if you don't want, you can change. Then from what sheet number, and when you are done, you say okay. And then when you come here, you can change the scale. And usually this scale is what will be able to open the drawing layout, your title sheet. So you must have checked that equally. That is not within what we want to explain, because that is purely part of another applications. So you can say, okay, for the plan view, use scale 1 to 100. For column, you see, this is just the general arrangement. And when you are done with this, take all this, select, and then you move to column applications. You might want to hide, check all this, then you insert again. Similar fashion, can go to column applications, and then maybe you might want to say, okay, maybe you want this 1 to 25. It's up to you. Then the column here, you might want to draw sheet by sheet, or you have the option of saying, okay, level by level, or you want to generate through the stories. Then you also have the option of saying, okay, similar columns together. So those columns are similar. You can equally draw them together. Please, in the course of your review, you can try this. And should you have any issue, don't hesitate to reach out to us, or also reach out to any right to global sales. But if you're in Nigeria, you can equally contact us, and then we'll see how we go from there. So from here, your column elevations, you might want to do one is to 50 to 50. Like I said, for some projects, 1:50 might not be able to contain. You might need to even increase the sheet size. Then you also might want to just select only few here. You may not want all the columns displayed. All these are there. Then the same thing for columns schedule. Might want to do this equally. This does not give you the option to insert. Then you also have your beam elevations. So, and the interesting thing is that even all those settings we made earlier, you can still revisit them here. Sorry. You can still revisit them in case whatever you are doing from what you are displaying is not giving you the desired outlook. You can come here and change all that. So we'll come back to pad. Okay, did I insert? Okay. Say for the beam elevations, I want to do 52. And then from here, you can choose truncate. This will help you such that your whatever you are doing will not overlap. So the moment you get close to the border of the sheet, it will truncate it. But you can decide to say, no, you shouldn't do it. So when you are reviewing this video, when you are watching the video, please ensure you try it and see the different options available and see how it could help. And please do not hesitate to contact ProtaSoftware through global sales at ProtaSoftware.com. You can visit the website, or you can also even drop messages in all the social media platforms. Those ones that have to do with Nigeria will be directed to me and I'll contact you. Or you can contact me directly if you are in Nigeria, please, only. So when you do this, you select this again and then select this. You can generate sheets as well. And you come here, for the part footing, you can equally do the same thing. This is automated. So maybe you want scale 1 to 25 or that. And then for your formwork, you have formwork. This will only appear if you have done the formwork design from ProtaDetails. If not, you may not be able to. So you can say formwork. So we can do 25 too. Generate. And then the other option application, formwork application, just like you have for columns, to show you the plan. I don't know if that is necessary, but should you need it, the software can provide for you. So you can also, maybe because you wouldn't want everything to be in just one drawing, you might want to prepare this on separate files. And what it means is that the general arrangement will be on individual files. And this may become very, very necessary, especially if you are transmitting some of these files through email and you don't have enough size, even though these days, with the help of cloud, we can easily share link to our document. But in case you need that, you can equally do that. Okay, so after reviewing this, and it's not a problem if the first attempt is not really showing it clearly, it's still not a problem. So when you are done with this, you are now good to go. And you can also deselect anyone you don't want here. But in this case, I want everything. And here you can draw sheets side by side, or You see, so with draw, and all you need to do, look for anywhere, and you see the wonder of ProtaDetails doing all those drawings for you. Why would you want to suffer yourself? So is it generating? While it's generating, let me look at if we have questions. Okay. I don't know why questions are not forthcoming, and I want to believe everybody is still hearing me. Uh, so is it generating? This is one way, and this is just a way of automating it. You can equally do it manually. So it's generating all the drawings in this project, all. And like I told you before, this is dependent on the configuration of your system, the capacity, and also the complexity. A simpler structure will not be as complex. So also a more complex, this might take some time to generate everything. I know most of you are saying already that the scale we chose are not just enough. And so, but the good part is it's something we can easily just correct. Okay, so we are still waiting. There's a lot of drawings. These are drawings that will take you days, and days will mean different members, different people, different team members working on the drawings. But now, okay, this is because I selected that I should generate sheet list. So you see, that's generated sheet list. For some projects, you might want to, attach the sheet list so that whosoever is looking at the project will already see that everything is in order, as in what and what is contained. So first, this general arrangement, what this means is that for the paper size, this one is to 100. That means it's not sufficient. And if you could recall, I told you earlier that you need to check the scale. I know scale 1 to 150 because this is a project that has been done. Scale 1 to 150 might be adequate, or even 1 to 200. So, so that's why it's overlapping. But we are going to show manually how this can also be done. You can see. So a portion of this is projecting out and doesn't look nice. So the same way with the layout, but it's showing you see the column dimension, why I didn't want to show it at first. So all this, and you can adjust. So you see your wall, you can see. So some of this is just for you to be able to edit some of them by reducing the height of this, which is also possible. But let's go ahead first. So you can see all your columns, everything in your sheet, the parameters all in your sheet. You can see they're all in your sheet. So it's still a matter of scale or the paper size. So you can change all this, right? Also for your beams, let's go through. See, all the beams are there for you. You can see. Because the depth here, you can see. And these are macro enabled. meaning you can change any of this information and it's automated. For instance, you might want to change maybe the number of the bars, the quantity, maybe to 3. It's automated. And as you are doing that, it's also automated here. The quantities are changing, the bars are also changing. So when you are done with this, you can see with this are done. Let's check our foundation details. You also can see this. So the trick, one of the tricks is what? Is choosing the appropriate scale. It's whatever the software is asking you to do, that you are asking the software to do, that it to do. Now we are going to go how you can take care of this. And so this is a general review. See your formwork drawings for fabrications. For those of you who might want to fabricate or you want to give maybe a fabricator to do it for you. You see, they're all here. You can see. These are the components. You see, all these are happening because of the paper size, but this can even be moved. You can easily adjust it. However, it's not even what I want you to adjust, because as much as possible, it's expected that the software is supposed to work for you. If you select this, you can see. So it's not a problem. And even all this one, you can increase the scale as well. So, but let's do a general review first before we go. So, this is how powerful the software can be. In order to check again, let's even say we undo whatever we have. And you can equally use all the most of the commands that a lot of software uses, like having to do control, I think control Z also. So you can undo everything. See, they're all going one by one. So you go control Z and then just for us to go all over. Okay. So now let's try it again. But in this time around, we are going to be doing it individually. So that's the other option. So you either do it manually or automated like we did earlier, or you might want to do it one by one. And from here, you just right click and say draw. And in this case now, let's even leave the size to be bigger, or if we want to use the same size, then we have to increase this. Let's say 200. 1:200. And then please, all the settings we did earlier can now apply. So come here, generate. So this gives you the opportunity to review it. You can see. So everything is now here. Can see. So everything is there for you. Then you can even do just sheet by sheet. Come here to say insert. And in this case, it will only be on that particular sheet. So you have the liberty to do this as much as possible. Okay? So the next thing, you see all these reinforcements data, they are all here. You can see. And like I told you before, this can be adjusted. You can decide not to see all this information, which I feel you should not see, the level. I don't think it's necessary here. But if you feel, because you have your bending schedule, so you may not really need all that. But it all depends on your preference. Then the same way, you can manually create your bending schedule by, coming here to create quantities. So when you click on quantities, what will it do for you? All you need to do is to select, then click to generate and press enter. And let's say you want another one. Okay. Okay, so the next thing, the applications, the column applications, we can equally come here and do it manually also. And then let's see. So after this one, I am going to move to, I'll proceed to other stuff that you can do. Can see. And this is because I inserted it on A1. So it could contain everything now. I want to believe this is understood. And from here, you can draw your column, your formwork. Let me just do just for one floor. Here you can also generate this. And like I said before, it will only show you the ones that we worked on. You can see. So those columns, those places we worked on to give us the details. Okay, so let's move on. Now, for some of us, maybe you might not even want to do everything here. You might want to communicate with another applications like other cards applications like AutoCAD, which you might want to generate everything here and you want to review. You can equally do that even without inserting. Okay, so this is not the only thing that the ProtaDetails will do for you. In fact, from ProtaDetails, you have design library, which can help you to generate other elements like cantilever, your staircase, retrofit wall, your scaffolding, corbels, pad footing, pool. We are going to look at one of these, like the your retaining walls. And with the retaining walls, you have option to choose different model here. Can see. So this is, I won't go so much into the details of this, but here all you need to do is to define. For instance, you put, let's say 3000 as a wall, you can see automatic, and all you need to do here is to change the configuration. Let me change this. I want to remove the share key, and then I want to also remove the parapet and Sorry, I want to remove this. So when you come here, the base plates, and as you are doing this, you'll be seeing the analysis here and all what this will do. Like, let's look at it properly. The total height of the foundation, which is your height, inclusive of the wall, the stem, and then the base. So you change that to 3 meters. You have the wall height, which is by this. You can choose to change it. What this means is that the base plate is 400. You can also, your casting height, maybe you want to do it in stages. Then the wall length, let's even do for just 1 meter. That's the length. Then the top width, yeah, let's see, that is this, sorry, 300. I'm saying 300, that is this dimension. Then what is the eccentricity from the left? The reason why it's bending or why it's bent is because if you want it straight, then the base plate, the B1, what is the toe? Here is 300. Let me leave it. At the base, it shouldn't be less than the top, but this is such that even if you want to optimize, because for a retaining wall, it's most critical at the base. So if you want to optimize, you can quickly do this to say, okay, maybe if it's even stemming at the top is smaller because the weight, the load there is not so much. Please, I need to fast track this. Like I've always maintained, this is not something that is just for one sitting, but this is just to demonstrate what you can do, how well you can save your work time. Then you check the soil parameters. All this, change it. I'm going to leave it as it is. Even the front fill, you can put all that. And then your fill parameters, where you change the height of fill of the soil. Yeah, your analysis setting. What do you want to see? You want to include the passive pressure in your analysis, which I know many people don't, but because it's conservative, you might want to check all this. And then design settings, also your diameter, the bars, you may want to click and check the diameter, like the setting we did earlier, and also the concrete, the links. Then what code are you using? Like in this case, we have, sorry, it's not Turkish, it's Euro code. Then you might want to specify the concrete cover. And so by the time you are done with this, you see, you can review, check, you can see. And then the next thing, you also carry out the design. See, with your reinforcement, which has to do with component design, and I'm going to show you shortly. So you can do section analysis details. And you check the stem, the base, to see each of them, which one is giving you issue in case anyone is. So you can also look at this one by one. And I can tell you, you can change all this, can relate with this here. See, you can change these parameters to say maybe you want to use, increase it. Okay, you can see you can equally change your spacing and then maybe the bar size and any of this. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. And when you are done, even for the base plate, you can decide to increase or reduce or leave it as it is, and then the output. How do you want to see it? Maybe for many designs, you might want to put the chair bar, then how many quantity per square meters, display leaders, rebars, then the scale. You may also want to check if introduce drainage details, because most retaining walls, if it's retaining earth, you might want to introduce a drainage details in order to reduce the impact of the forces, hydrostatic forces on the foundation. So right from here, for a 1 meter length of this retaining wall, you can easily see even the quantities right from here. And this is very easy. When somebody is asking you a question, hey, I want to do a retaining wall 3 meters high. Please, what do I need? How many bag of cement or quantity of cement sand? With this, you can quickly generate even the report. Carry out your analysis, generate the report. And this has gone back to being new because of part of the changes that I made. So when you are done with this, all you need to do is to generate. You can see. So it's very quick, just 1 hour. Please, some of these videos are there, some of the things are there where they are dedicated. So because I know the time we have gone far, but we'll try others again. The same way, you can look at staircases, and for this, check the parameters, they are out there. Even your separate step, you can design integrated slab as integrated step. Okay, it's telling me it has not been designed. So let me design it. Please, for want of time now, I'm accepting all this. So you see, and the good thing is it's not even just this. You can even design. I skipped the other one because there are a lot of videos on the other type of staircases. This one. So even this one, you can change it to foldable, and then we redesign, because you have several uh, architects or designer asking you, and it's just a click away. You can see. So you also have, and when they say design, it means this will not only generate the drawings for you, it will also design. So whatever you are doing here is design. Even for your scaffolding, I know many of us here too, we don't do scaffolding, but assuming you are into scaffolding business, you are into production, fabrication of scaffold, you can easily come here, specify how do you want, what kind of materials, and then do all that. And when you are done, you can actually generate your drawing. You do your analysis, see? When you are done with your analysis, you can also generate. Because these are safety issues. Ordinarily, by standard, you are supposed to determine so people don't fall from your scaffold that you may have recommended. So that when you have a project, you can equally just specify the kind of scaffold you might want to rent or you might want to fabricate. And not just that, even when you are selling, if you're in the business of scaffold, for maybe you rent out, you're into rentals or even sales, you can use, with the help of this, you can generate and have your product information. So with this, when you have scaffolds, you can easily attach all this information to let everybody see how you can easily fabricate, install, even at your project site. And this increases um, the credibility of your design or the integrity of your design, so that people know that yes, when they are buying scaffolding from you, they are safe. Corbels too, when you have this can be used maybe for rail, for crane, or for other simply supported platform. For those of you in Nigeria, if you're in Abuja, you can see some of the pedestrian bridges having corbels that are carrying the slab. So maybe when you go around next time, you look at it. With ProtaDetails, you can change this to rectangular, straight, or you can. I'm accepting all the defaults. And then what is the load, both the vertical and the horizontal load, because this is meant to support simply supported members most times, even though sometimes there might be a means of, especially if you are doing precast, you might want to bring out a holding, something like a nail, whereby by the time you place the slab, you may not want lateral movement. And so to control the shear, you might want to introduce this, but that is beyond the scope of whatever we are doing now. So you can take even Euro 2, take all your reinforcement. You see, it's not even designed yet. So you can update the design, and then I see output, enforcement, everything is okay. Then you can output. You can even add quantity table into report. You can see. And it's not just this. When I click OK, see, why will you not invest in this software? Please, I may not have time to go into this, but if you are still not convinced and you want a free session, maybe for a demo session with you and your team, we can equally do that. You can also design pad footing, assuming you are just doing pad, similar information, and then you do independently. Then, apart from the design library, you have pipe design, engineering utilities, which are there, your cover, anchorage, hook length. You can do all this. Please, even unit conversion, simple beam analysis. At the type, maybe you want to design a cantilever, you don't have to go through modeling phase. You have all the other information. This or the ones that is fixed at one end but supported at the other end, the loading information. So you have the opportunity to do all this. Or even your drains. I know a lot of people do drains and they don't do analysis. And after sometimes it's either the hydraulic data not gathered, no design of the discharge, and then they just go ahead and create uh, a drain that may not serve the purpose. So with this, you can change, can see. So you have all this opportunity. And when you are doing, it doesn't just carry out the design, it goes ahead to do what? To prepare a detailed report. So these and many other things we have even the pool, sorry, the swimming pool, I know a lot of you have issues. I know how difficult it is to analyze. But with ProtaDetails, I want to stop very soon, so I'm trying to go a little bit faster. With ProtaDetails, you can do this, where you have select from a gallery of, you see, this is what we have. You can equally change it depending on whatever it is, you can see. So with this, you can even add points, because let's select, you can see, this helps you to, can see P1, it helps you to input your data. So if you are starting from 0, you might want to increase maybe the X, there is on X before the next, what length, what, you see. So you can input all this data, and this will give you whatever you need to. At this point, I'm only showing you now because of time, but when you check ProtaSoftware YouTube page, you also see a dedicated uh, uh, training for this. So when you are done, even your slab, like in this particular case, we have 1, 2, 3, and that's why they are slab 1, 2. So you can even add more. Then when you are done, add your properties, the concrete, this, even the load on the, which is very, very important, the load on coming up on the what's it called now, the swimming pool. So by the time you are done with everything, you go ahead uh, to, you see, because we are not assigned all this, is just that let's say, okay, you see, let's just take one model, and you see that at every stage too, it's not making you to go into, making error, and that's why you have at every point you have all those prompts informing you of what you need to have done. Then you go into detailing, and when you detail, okay, design successful, you can print reports, and then when you click OK, you have your swimming pool. Sorry, is thing with this, but you can see. So, and all these are things you can actually review. You can see. Can just change the dimension. I don't want to exceed another 10 minutes. So you can equally do, I think from here, then the report manager, you can come here to carry out all your reports. You can see. You can also include your logo, your company's logo, by selecting logo, which will take you to wherever the logo is. I don't want to go into all that now. And then the quantity takeoff, whatever you have done here before, like the axis report, the axial report, and then I think we did the beam. We didn't do any report there, but let's see. Did we do anyone here? No. I think we did for formwork or so. Okay, quantities takeoff will be there. So, and it's very simple. All we need to do is to create a new report and we print. So, you can do this from here or from the from here, also from ProtaStructure interface. So the other things you can do, We now go to your detail library. Detail library means you can still draw, but you can't do design. Now your sheet information, which we did earlier, you can change some of this. You can insert sheet directly. Insert sheet. So instead of doing one by one to feed the drawing, you can choose to insert. Let me insert another one like I did for this. Like this, we have all your information, and you can even carry out the project header setting beforehand, where you do who is doing the design. Engineer Iduh, that's my name. Who is the client, checked by, let's say, who will do that? Okay, because I'm a qualified engineer, I can still check my design. Draw, check by maybe drawn, even though sometimes presented by. You can leave it clients ProtaStructure. See, project title, webinar, project number 01, date. We have today's date, which you can pick from, and say 11th. Review number, is there any? Do you have any? And put 0, but it will be empty. So when you are done with this, you can easily just come and then you update. You can see ProtaStructure, project title, and then sheet 1. It will interest you to know, you can see drawing number, the revision, the scale. It will interest you to know that even the ones you did automatic, that was very, very automatic before, can now let's insert one. You get, let's just do one now. Now I told you earlier, you see, you can see. So with this, all those informations, you see, webinar is, you can see, Iduh presented, and then scale 1 to 200, date, revision number, the sheet. So it makes it very, very easy. I feel that I felt I should spend a little time. Then you can do beam detail here. This is just detail, it doesn't design. So just the same way, you can equally just to carry out where you can change any of this information and also detail. Please, so you can equally do your pit foundation, where you can change any of this to the shape you want, and then carry out, see, the detail. This will enable you to, let's see, convert as well, and equally change 2 cells, 3 cells. It doesn't design, but if you have your information, you can equally detail. And when you have any of this, it's not even so difficult detailing from here too. So you have other thing, your level mark, your hole, your drop, all this can give to you. But even the level mark is something that for whatever plan you have here, let's see. Did I? Okay. I thought, okay, here. Even coming here, can see it identified the level to be 3.3. And that's the level in our drawing. You can see this level, our first floor, you can see here, is 3.3. Can you see it? So our first floor is at 3.3. So these are macros that can easily make life easier for you. Then you have automatic dimensions, plan view, even from here. Sorry, is it plan or section view? Sorry, like from here, you can easily cut a section through this. Maybe you want to see how is it. Okay, because I did not activate. Let me go to where reinforcement is, and I'll click on this. Okay. So it simplifies your work. And all this, you see your reinforcement, that section. And all this, you don't have to do it all the time. Even if you change, you come here and you adjust any of this, you don't have to come and begin to do this all the time. All you need to do is to come here and then you can update. So you can update your model, you can update the drawings, you can carry out all this. For one time now, I may not be able to go through this. Even the project header went earlier. So please, it's very, very easy to do this. And then the last one I'm going to do, which I just have a minute or thereabout, is also being able to insert reinforcement. For instance, in this Formwork, you can easily do your reinforcement directly. So instead of detailing with other software or your card, you can do this. For instance, you specify here now that you should use cover the scale. Then cover, you say 50, and then what is the type? Is it beam you are detailing? Or in this case, it's general. We have a Y12. Let's say we say the spacing are 150. And then we are now saying the quantities is even tentatively, if it's not, because the quantity definitely, this is the elevation, will span from here to this point. Even if you don't know what the quantity is now, or you want to put it manually, 8 meter divided by 0.15, or you say 8,000 meter divided by 150 millimeter, what will it give you? So all you need to do in this case is you come here, you see, now, okay, in real projects, so that I don't begin to, this is not how you detail uh, your covert. So let it not be that I'll now begin to detail. So usually you might want to put the wall separately, or let me even review, wow, let me review this quickly. Select the covert, and this is the interesting point, edit. I right click, edit. I want to, so that we have a smoother operation, and then I want to remove this extension. Let me make it simpler, and then I'll say, you see, it has adjusted it, no, not too much stress. So with this Formwork, you can easily come here to say, okay, insert. And all I need to do, if I'm detailing my bottom slab, all I need to do is to do this. And you can even say, okay, for the end, The end segment, maybe you want to make this, let's say, let me use that default now. You can see, this is to scale, assuming I want to use 200 here, or let's say I want it to, you know, extend into the wall. 300, let's say that's 600, but because it's K1 to 25, it has to be 600 times 4. So I think that should be 2,400, I guess. Let me see. Okay, so it's even more than. So you have to also know. Then you can change the diameter and the spacing, like I said earlier, and you click OK. So, and this reinforcement you can actually adjust this. Sorry. You can, at any point, you can click here. You can adjust this. Can show whatever you want to be shown or otherwise. Please, there are many of these videos on the YouTube, on the official YouTube. So, you know the good thing, why I will encourage you to do your detail, or even the covert here. With what it is, you can easily just carry out your, see, just one bar, and you have the quantity, the bending schedule, instead of going through the rigorous means of. So I'm going to be coming to a close very soon. And then you have all this, you have a different type, and where you can also relate with existing drawings. Let's say I want to open a new drawing that you may have done before. It's bad that we can't go into some things today again. But assuming you have a drawing, you can, with the capability of ProtaDetails, you can also communicate with other softwares like the CAD. So from my slab, which you may have done with, you may have done this before, so you don't need to start all over now. But it doesn't recognize this. I can't create any quantities here. So even if you do anything here, it's not seeing anything as reinforcement. But with the functionalities, capability of this, you can equally convert a rebar. So let me look for, let's say for instance, this one, and then let's say I'm saying cover, or let's even use none, and see Y12. This is spanning 50. I have 50 of this, so I'll put 50. I'll say Y12 at 150. You can see. So the moment, okay. Oh, I've not selected. Okay. So the moment you select this, you can see it has given me the quantities, and which I even, it's even possible for me to still edit from here. You get. So from here, you can change the layout. How do you want it to be? Do you want it rotated? The line segment, total quantity on bar. Do you want it with arrow? For instance, I say with arrow, which some of you we might want this annotated in order for clearer view. Please, today I may not have opportunity of working on style, but if opportunity arises, I'm going to dedicate a whole time training to show you how you can change your style from a setting. We can't do format your layers, set all this, whereby everything will come out just the same way. All this, you see the sizes different, the arrows and all that. And with this, the moment I convert this, it becomes very, very easy for me to do what? To create my bending schedule. Can you see? Just one bar, 50 bar, 50 quantities of numbers of this. You see what is given to me. So this is very, very essential. And we also have other possibility here where you can, unfortunately, I may not be able to do that now, but one thing I can quickly check your tie back, your linked mesh, and you check all these dimensions. Now, do you also know the same way you can draw lines? You can also draw. You have all the line, the X line, the rectangular polyline, the rectangular command, the text. You can equally do it here. Even all your AutoCAD, this, all your CAD offsets, you can offset this, your offset command. You can see offset distance. Let me say, okay, assuming I'm using 200, let's see, press enter. It's telling me to select entity, and then is it single times? I'll type X, select. That's the same way others work. So even if I want to do my detailing here, it becomes very easy for me to equally say, okay, select this, select this. You see, assuming it's a ring. Yeah. So, and with this, instead of you spending so much time doing your drawings in other cards that will not give you the desired result, or after you finish this, manually you have to start. You can see in no time, even if it's a beam, you want to detail. You get, even if it's a beam elevation, you want to detail. You have this. You can see quickly everything instead of starting beginning. And because I also know that there are people who don't even need to model. Maybe they want to do a simple beam that will be crossing, that will be carrying a particular load. You don't need to pass through. All those drawing tools, your erase, copy, mirror, offset, array, all those CAD commands you use in other notable softwares, edit, trim, you have all of them. Even if you want to clip your image, you can also clip your image. You get. So you have all this to work for you. Modify, offset, you have this. You have your settings, okay. Draw, like I demonstrated earlier, you can even hash. So you can actually start your project from the beginning to the end. Even if for this, I want to maybe draw myself the reinforcement, you can even use any of these commands also to draw. Also draw like single points. You go from one point to another. So at this point, I want to stop here. Okay. So thank you very much, and I look out to hearing from you and uh, getting feedback from you. I want to believe that we'll still have another opportunity to follow up where you'll see more of this. Thank you very much.